As the fourth generation of the Red Emperor, in the realm of cultivation, it is necessary to eliminate demons and defend the way. As long as the method is right, little sister is the strongest in the three realms. What? Monsters and monsters are not humans. Little sister can teach them how to be human. Being a good person is so fragrant. What? Shouldn't righteous cultivators be too dark-headed? Little sister sent them to transform into saints. No brain, really black. What? Xiaoshigu is sure to soar and become a fairy, no longer a mortal. No, little sister has a mortal heart and will always be immortal. There is CP, the female lead has passion, no love brain, does not lower intelligence, meets strength, sends warmth, enough is cool, enough is true. Key words of the novel. After the third world of crying, the little teacher's aunt win thoroughly has no pop-up window. After the third world of crying, the little teacher's aunt win thoroughly has downloaded the complete set of TXT. After the third world of crying, the little teacher's aunt win thoroughly has read the latest chapter. Chapter 1. Dreams can really come true. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Dreams can really come true. The Wentian realm, which ranks first among the 6 realms in the cultivation world, is located southeast of the Daizhou continent, one of the 5 continents. Chen Mingyue, the leader of the second highest sect of the Wentian realm, the Hehuan sect, resides at the top of the Yuhui cliff. The sun tilts westward and the afterglow is lingering. Chen Mingyue, the leader of the Hehuan sect, Tang Buyu, the leader of the Chaos Wuji sect of the Wentian realm upper sect, and Ji Zuanchang, the former leader of the Chaos Wuji sect and now the supreme elder, stood not far from the cliff top. They lifted their heads and stared unanimously at the center of a huge magic formation on the cliff, about 100 meters ahead, where a towering altar was transformed. At this moment, both the altar and the formation were shrouded in a rich milky white spiritual energy. On top of the altar, there was a shining purple jade bed, on which lay a red-clad girl with tightly closed eyes. The girl in red seemed to be sleeping soundly, with a peaceful expression on her face. Whether it's her dark hair, fair complexion, melon seed face, willow eyebrows, deer nose, cherry lips, or moderate figure, she bears a striking resemblance to Chen Mingyue. But although her eyes were not open, they were enough to tell from the contours of her eyes that they were not as narrow and long as Chen Mingyue's, and the sleeping silkworm under her eyes was not as plump as Chen Mingyue's. When Chen Mingyue's gaze touched the eyes of the girl in red and the sleeping silkworm in front of her, she suddenly turned her head and gave a clear and quiet glance at Tang Buyu beside her. Ah! She let out a faint sigh, then turned back and continued to stare at the girl in red on the jade bed. Tang Buyu's expression tightened as he immediately looked at Ji Zuanchang on the other side and asked in a low voice, "The soul returning formation has been in operation for 40.8 days. Today is already the last day, but now, it is getting dark soon. Master, do you see that most of Lienar's lost souls can still return to their rightful place smoothly this time?" Ji Zuanchang gave Tang Buyu a dangerous look and said, "Buyu, are you questioning my formation strength?" Tang Buyu smiled faintly. He naturally dared not. Ji Zuanchang was the only scattered immortal who failed to ascend in the entire asking heaven realm, but relied on the formation and was not affected by any cultivation or longevity element. He had both sword and formation cultivation, ranking first in both sword and formation cultivation in the asking heaven realm. "Master, how dare I question your formation strength? It's mainly because I have set up 11 consecutively since Lienar was 4 years old, and have summoned most of Lienar's lost souls without success. I feel from the bottom of my heart that if you fail this time, it means that my formation strength is not too far behind yours." He. Tang Buyu, after all, felt a bit guilty and his voice became quieter as he spoke. "Alright, don't talk about whether you have something or not. You're so careful, I'm not sure yet." Ji Zuanchang was a bit skeptical. He waved his hand at Tang without hesitation, took dozens of steps forward, offered a sword from his body, and jumped up. Then, he stopped his sword at a distance of about 2 meters parallel to the top of the altar, his gaze lovingly lowered, and he carefully looked at the red-clad girl lying on the purple jade bed above the altar. Lianer, your current soul has fully returned to its original position, there is no need to wake up in a hurry. I can give you another hour to sort out the different memories that exist in your two parts of soul, so that you can better adapt to your current body, he said softly. Chen Lianer on the purple jade bed clearly heard his words, her expression changed slightly, and her eyebrows also slightly raised. However, it quickly returned to normal and showed no signs of waking up immediately. Because, as Ji Zuanchang said, Chen Lianer's soul has indeed returned to her original position completely. However, the original soul of Chen Lianer in her current body only accounts for a small part of all souls, and the other half of the souls summoned back by Ji Zuanchang come from another interface, a place called Huaxiao, and a girl named Xiao Jiaojiao. There, Xiao Jiaojiao is a red fourth generation with a red root. Not long after obtaining her dual doctoral degrees in psychology and marketing 2 years ago, she was successfully admitted to the civil service position of a researcher at the Commerce Bureau of a first-tier city. After only 2 years in office, she was successfully promoted and recognized by her superiors, making her a promising future. If it weren't for it, 2 days ago, her grandmother was critically ill. While accompanying her at night, in her sleep, in order to save her grandmother, she was accidentally deceived by a middle-aged handsome uncle named Ji Hao in the dream and signed a cooperation contract recognized by the Heavenly Way. If it weren't for it, Ji Hao gave her the elixir, which really existed after she woke up and could cure all kinds of diseases. It saved her grandmother's life, which was about to die due to advanced gastric cancer, and completely restored her health. If it weren't for that, besides that, Ji Hao also gave her a lot of good things, and when she woke up, those things actually existed. She didn't want to be returned to her soul and came to this world of questioning, where she had no relatives and her eyes were completely smeared. Alas, dreams can really come true, making a contract carries risks, so be careful when signing. Talking too much, it's all tears. Time was tight, and Xiao Jiaojiao forced herself to calm down. Following Ji Zuanchang's reminder, she carefully sorted out the different memories that existed in the two parts of her soul in order to better adapt to her current body. Half an hour later, she successfully completed the task ahead of schedule. From Chen Lianer's memory, it can be seen that her soul was severely incomplete from a young age, and her intelligence was only at the level of a 3-year-old child. She did not understand how to bring qi into her body, and her spiritual cultivation was 0. Fortunately, Chen Mingyue, the mother of Chen Lianer, was good at teaching according to her aptitude. She taught Chen Lianer the art of body refining early on, and insisted on personally supervising her for 3 hours a day, supplemented by a 1-hour medicinal bath, making her body appear healthier than her modern body. However, being in the realm of cultivation, with only a slight mastery of body refining techniques and no spiritual cultivation, how can one establish oneself? She can't always stay in the Hehuan sect and stay indoors. She needs to practice as soon as possible to enhance her hard power. Enter the refining phase first. In this way, she can bring spiritual energy into the elixir field, opening up a small thing that Ji Hao had placed in her elixir field in her dream. The wind ear. From then on, she will have the ability to listen attentively to all the important movements within a radius of 10 miles. Entering the foundation construction period again. In this way, she can bring spiritual energy into the elixir field, summoning Ji Hao's exotic spiritual pet placed in her elixir field in her dream, and adding an additional auxiliary combat power. As for the later stages of entering the golden elixir, primordial infant, spiritual transformation, exorcism, combination, Mahayana, and crossing the calamity, Ji Hao also left corresponding gifts in her elixir field or sea of consciousness. Among them, the gift that enters the baby stage is what she looks forward to the most. Because it is a divine mirror with video function called returning to the Yuan. When she enters her primordial stage and possesses strong divine consciousness, she can smoothly control Ji Hao and the strand of divine consciousness left in her sea of consciousness, summoning the divine mirror placed in her dantian, connecting Ji Hao's strand of divine consciousness left in her sea of physical consciousness in China, allowing her to see her modern family at any time and have a first-hand understanding of the living conditions of her modern family. In addition, she also needs to find ways to complete the cooperation task given by Ji Hao as soon as possible, find and approach a black-bellied young man named Chen Xianyuan who has an engagement with her, guide him to grow into the pure and virtuous person that Ji Hao demands, so as to return to modern life as soon as possible. Thinking of these, she had a sudden inspiration and felt that there was still half an hour left before Ji Tsuanchang agreed to wake her up. She could take advantage of the opportunity to fully return her soul, be in good spirits, and have abundant spiritual energy around her body. She could take a look at the cultivation secrets in Ji Hao's, returning to the Yuan Xian Gong, in her sea of consciousness, and try to introduce Qi into her body. The cat has released a new book. There are already 200,000 words of saved manuscript, ensuring continuous updates. The following is the update plan for cats. Before putting it on the shelves, at least one update should be made every day. If the cat's editing notification adds an update, it can be added at any time. Normally, for every additional 8 monthly tickets, 300 recommended tickets will be added, and the next day an additional chapter will be added, and so on. After being put on the shelves, at least 3 updates should be made every day. If the cat's editing notification is updated, it can be updated at any time. Normally, for every additional 20 monthly tickets, 500 recommended tickets will be added, and the next day an additional chapter will be added, and so on. Welcome everyone who loves Little Master of the Immortal Gate to cast monthly and recommended tickets to support Cat Duo Duo. Love you all. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Advanced. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Advanced. The Secret Collection of Gui Yuan Xian Gong is a simplified Chinese version in regular script, which contains the cultivation content about the qi refining period. It is easy to understand and can be easily understood at a glance. Xiao Jiaojiao followed the instructions above and quickly successfully induced qi into her body. She carefully felt it and found that the spiritual energy entering her body included 5 attributes: gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. They all seemed to have been selected, and when they entered the body under the operation of the returning Yuan Xian Gong, their spiritual energy was very balanced, making her whole body increasingly comfortable and fulfilled. She was extremely excited and immediately activated the tailwind ear that Ji Hao had placed in her dantian in her dream. Soon, 2 people's voices, neither light nor heavy, came to her ears. Elder Gongsun, don't hide from me anymore. I have already found your hiding place. Come out, said a familiar and gentle male voice. Xiao Jiaojiao had a deep impression in her mind, and this voice should belong to Chen Lianer's senior brother Zhou Gu. Zhou Gu, you're too narrow-minded. I'm not an outsider. I'm hiding here to eavesdrop on the movements on the Yuhui cliff, not because I care about Lianer. You open and close your eyes, pretending not to notice me, can't you, said a familiar and crisp female voice with great dissatisfaction. Xiao Jiaojiao also had a deep impression in her mind, and this voice should belong to Sun Yu, Chen Lianer's wet nurse and the second eldest husband of the law enforcement hall. Of course not. The teacher's orders must not be violated. However, although my master sent me to watch under this cliff of residual light and not allow anyone to approach, she did not prohibit anyone from using other methods to get in touch with her. Elder Gongsun wants to know about Lianer's current situation, so he can openly and directly transmit notes and ask my master, Zhou Gu reminded. Gongsun Yu's tone suddenly became cheerful. Yes. If I care, it will be chaotic. I was confused for a while, so I will leave now and send you the notes for your master. The next moment, in Xiao Jiaojiao's ear, there came a conversation between Gongsun Yu and Chen Mingyue, neither light nor heavy. Master, may I ask what is the situation with Lianer now? Gong Sunyue asked directly. All the souls of my beloved child have returned to their rightful place not long ago. At present, the Supreme Elder of Chaos Wuji's sect has arranged for her to sort out the different memories that exist in two parts of her soul, so that she can better adapt to her current body, Chen Mingyue answered without reservation. Great. Master, can I lead all the people in the sect who care about Lianer to visit Lianer together on the Yuhui cliff now? Gong Sunyu asked again. Sure. Yue, you can also open a Wanli Tong and bring Zhou Gu along to do live real-time recording for Lianer. Let everyone in the asking heaven know that my Lianer soul has completely returned to its original position, and she is no longer the so-called idiot. Chen Mingyue spoke with a resounding voice as she spoke her last sentence. Obviously, in her heart, she still cares about the fact that others treat the original Chen Lianer as an idiot. Being a mother makes one strong, and Xiao Jiaojiao understands her feelings very well. Master, Lianer has never been an idiot. She used to be immature, just because her soul was severely incomplete. It's okay if others don't understand, we all know it ourselves, said Gong Sunyu in a warm voice. She obviously has some inner thoughts about others treating Chen Lianer as an idiot. After pausing for a moment, Gong Sunyu said again, also, Zhou Gu is right next to me. He heard what you just said to me, and we will immediately follow your instructions. After speaking, Gong Sunyu called last week Gu to inform everyone in the sect who cared about Chen Lianer to go to Yuhui Cliff together. Their greetings all the way, reaching Chen Jiaojiao's ears, remained neither light nor heavy. Chen Jiaojiao thus understood two things. The first thing is that the design of this wind ear is very user-friendly, allowing her to hear important movements within a radius of 10 miles, and also being influenced by her thoughts, allowing her to choose and listen to the movements she wants to hear. As for the noise she doesn't want to hear, it will automatically decrease the volume in decibels or even silence. At the same time, this windward ear does not require much mental energy from her. She can listen to the movements within a 10-mile radius while continuing her cultivation. The only downside is that there are rules for opening and closing the tailwind ear every time. The opening time must be within half an hour, the next opening time must be separated by half an hour from the previous opening time. The second thing is that Guiyuan Xiangong is an amazing cultivation technique. After successfully introducing qi into her body, the Guiyuan Xiangong did not stop and remained within her body, operating on its own, continuously absorbing more spiritual energy from outside into her body. She guided the newly absorbed spiritual energy according to the method learned from the secret collection of returning to the Yuan Xiangong, and when she orderly brushed the muscles and meridians in her body, she could clearly feel that her cultivation was constantly improving. She deeply felt that the feeling of lying down and practicing like this was not bad, it's even better to lie down and practice like this, while also listening to the nearby sounds and movements, because if you're not careful, you may still hear many interesting secrets. She decided to keep pretending to sleep as long as she could continue practicing lying down without being noticed. About 15 minutes later, Ji Tsuanchang, who was waiting for Qin Jiaojiao to wake up, noticed an abnormal spiritual energy around Qin Jiaojiao's body. He quickly reminded Tang Buyu and Chen Mingyue, have you noticed that the spiritual energy surrounding Lianer is gradually becoming thin? Don't you know? Master Xian, my family's Lianer has suffered from severe mental disability since childhood. Her intelligence is only at the level of a 2 or 3-year-old child, and she doesn't even know how to bring qi into her body. The spiritual energy surrounding her, well done, how could it gradually become thin? Chen Mingyue was a little skeptical. At the same time, she did not notice that the spiritual energy surrounding Qin Jiaojiao was gradually becoming thin. Tang Buyu, on the other hand, carefully observed and sensed the spiritual energy surrounding Qin Jiaojiao's body, with a solemn expression. Strange. Currently, not only the spiritual energy surrounding Lianer's body is gradually becoming thinner, but also the spiritual energy around the entire altar and Yuhui cliff is gradually converging towards Lianer's body. Moreover, based on my cultivation level, if I don't investigate carefully, I won't be able to detect this kind of spiritual energy change. Oh. Chen Mingyue's eyes lit up and she immediately became interested. Although her cultivation is a big gap compared to Tangbuyu is the peak cultivation in the early stage of crossing the tribulation, and she is the peak cultivation in the later stage of Mahayana. When calculated, they are only a small gap. Ji Zuanchang, on the other hand, has a much higher cultivation than both of them, and is a half-step true immortal cultivation. She imitated Tang Buyu's appearance and carefully observed and sensed the spiritual movements surrounding Chen Lianer. After a while, she was about to speak up about her discovery when Ji Zuanchang murmured first, refining, Qi, 1, layer. When I was talking to Lianer before, she had no cultivation at all. Now, in less than an hour, her cultivation has actually reached the level of refining Qi. Lianer's qualifications are really good. She can even settle down while lying down, and she can break through so quickly. It's difficult for me to settle down while lying down. It took me over half a month to break through the layer of Qi refining after I infused Qi into my body. Tang Buyu noticed the progress of Chen Lianer's cultivation breakthrough and smiled, telling Chen Mingyue. However, I only tried to teach Lianer the method of introducing Qi into her body for 3 years before she was 5 years old, and found that she didn't understand it at all, so I never taught her again. After so many years, she should have forgotten about how I taught her to breathe Qi into her body. Moreover, our Hehuan sex technique of introducing Qi into the body involves significant movements and stillness. When Lianer was breathing in before, I didn't even notice it. It was only when she was about to be promoted earlier that I noticed a little movement. Based on my cultivation, I only realized the slight movement and stillness of my family's Lianer when she introduced Qi into her body and broke through the layer of refining Qi. Even if it was a heavenly level skill passed down from the upper realm, it could not achieve the effect, right? Chen Mingyue became more and more confused as she thought. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 is outrageous. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 is outrageous. Tang Buyu smiled warmly and said, Lianer used to only have a small portion of her soul. In her current body, most of her soul is left wandering. The Qi-inducing technique she is currently using may also have been obtained from her wandering soul elsewhere. The technique that Lianer is currently using to induce Qi into her body should not be a heavenly level technique, but an emperor level technique. Because Emperor Daizong's technique of introducing Qi into the body is the Tianjie technique. I remember that its movement and stillness in introducing Qi into the body and Jinjie were much more obvious than those of Lianer's technique of introducing Qi into the body and Jinjie. On the contrary, Chen Qianrong, the mother of Yuan Air, the 6 disciples who never gave up, left Yuan Air with the set of Qi introduction techniques obtained from the Xian Yuan secret realm. Whether it was Qi introduction into the body or the movements of the Jin dynasty, it was somewhat similar to Lian Air. Ji Zuanchang's expression appeared somewhat dazed. Throughout history, the highest level martial arts technique that has emerged in the realm of questioning the heavens is the heavenly level martial arts. The emperor level martial arts he referred to have always been a legend. And this legend still comes from a legend of Xianyuan Su, the strongest ascent in the world of heaven for tens of thousands of years. Yes, the majority of the souls that Lianer once wandered outside may have some connection with the physical fate of Xianyuan Su, who ascended thousands of years ago. Tang Buyu nodded, fully acknowledging Ji Zuanchang's analysis. Chen Mingyue had already thought of other aspects. According to what you said, my Lianer's current cultivation method of introducing Qi into the body must be at least a heavenly level technique. That's great. I also heard that as long as you have good qualifications and practice the heavenly level technique, you will achieve twice the result with half the effort. I believe that my beloved child's soul has returned to her original state, and her qualifications will also change. With time, her cultivation level is expected to catch up with her fellow disciples, making up for the regret left in our fellow disciples' hearts when our soul was severely incomplete and we were unable to comprehend the cultivation techniques. Mingyue junior sister, once mastered at the heavenly level and above, in an environment with abundant spiritual energy, she can autonomously operate within her body, assist cultivators, continuously improve cultivation, and constantly break through. You see, after successfully breaking through the layer of qi refining, Lianer did not pause. Her speed of absorbing spiritual energy around her began to gradually increase. However, her expression was very peaceful. This indicates that she still has great potential and can break through the second level of qi refining with one go. Tang Buqian stared closely at the movement of Qin Jiaojiao's spiritual energy around her body, happily reminding Qin Mingyue. Qin Mingyue's gaze lit up, and she quickly followed Tang Buqian's gaze with enthusiasm, also beginning to closely monitor the movement of Qin Jiaojiao's spiritual energy around her body. Ji Zuanchang suspected that Qin Jiaojiao was using the emperor-level technique to induce qi into his body for cultivation. He had already taken a step ahead of them, closely monitoring the movement of Qin Jiaojiao's spiritual energy around him, attempting to use this opportunity to deduce the essence of the operation of this technique. And after silently listening to their conversation, Xiao Jiaojiao determined two things in her heart. The first thing is that she is currently practicing the secret technique of returning to the Yuan Xian Gong from Ji Hao in her dream, which is likely to be at or above the heavenly level. The second thing is that there is a high probability that Ji Hao has a certain connection with Xian Yuanshu, but Ji Hao is definitely not Xian Yuanshu. Because when she signed the cooperation contract with Ji Hao, which was recognized by the heavenly way, she clearly saw that Ji Hao's signature was Ji Hao, not Xian Yuanshu. Soon, Gong Sunyue brought Zhou Gu and more than 20 elders, protectors, deacons, and thousands of disciples of the Hehuan sect to the top of Yuhui Cliff. The vast majority of people, like Qin Mingyue, Tang Buyu, and Ji Zuanchang, stared intently at Qin Jiaojiao lying on the purple jade bed above the altar, about 5 meters ahead. Gong Sunyu is currently guiding Zhou Gu to use Wanli Tong to do live real-time recording for Qin Jiaojiao. This Wanli Tong is a top-notch communication spirit tool developed by Xuanzhong, the master of the Chaos Wuji Sex Alchemy Workshop, 7 years ago. It is much better than the previous communication symbols. Chaos Wuji Sex Alchemy Workshop has been continuously developing, maintaining, and improving over the years, with more and more functions that can be activated with just a spirit stone. It is designed in over 10 basic styles, ranging in size, and allows customers to customize according to their personal preferences. For example, the Wanli Tong in Zhou Gu's hand was customized by Qin Mingyue based on the hobbies of the former Qin Lianer and the current Qin Jiaojiao. It has a shape similar to a sunflower flower, and its body is exactly the same size as a newly bloomed sunflower flower. In terms of specific applications, it not only automatically builds various public forums for posting messages, but also has private graphic and text chat areas that can be targeted and opened. The biggest helplessness is that although a sound transmission system has been designed, individuals are unable to activate it. They must first submit an application and obtain unanimous agreement from the leaders of the Chaos Infinity sect, Nanzong sect, and Taishan sect before it can be activated. The reason given by the Chaos Unlimited Sex Alchemy Workshop is to guard against the infiltration of the demon realm's sound and magic. In fact, the real reason is that it does not affect the revenue of the transmission notes developed by Chaos Wuji Sex Alchemy Workshop and one of the 3 major companies, Nanzong. The Southern sect specializes in the Tai Xian technique and is skilled in talismans and formations. Among them, talismans are one of the main sources of income for the sect. And communication symbols are one of the main sources of income in the field of talismans. As early as 10 years ago, the master of the Wanlatong refining workshop, Xian Zhonghua, collaborated with the head of the Southern sect to develop a unique Chuanin note, which belongs to one of the Chuanin note series products. This transmission note is the main source of income in the field of communication notes. Because teleportation notes are different from ordinary teleportation notes, as long as one party injects a strand of divine consciousness into each teleportation note in advance, and then gives the teleportation note to the other party can obtain contact with this party and engage in real-time dialogue by injecting spiritual power. Of course, the effectiveness of this real-time conversation still needs to be determined based on the cultivation level of the party injected with divine consciousness in advance and the distance between the two. For example, when high-level cultivators during the Mahayana period or above inject divine consciousness into the transmission notes, even if separated by thousands of miles, the effect of the transmission dialogue will be no different from face-to-face communication. However, lower-level cultivators in the golden elixir period and below have weaker spiritual awareness. When communicating with higher-level cultivators, they can use the teleportation notes injected by higher-level cultivators. If communicating with lower-level cultivators in the golden elixir period and below, they can only use the teleportation notes. In addition, the transmission note is similar to the transmission note and is a symbol treasure with a certain number of usage restrictions, making it a relatively expensive consumable. Lower-grade transmission notes often have a total call duration of less than 15 minutes, middle-grade transmission notes, with a total call duration of less than 1 hour, high-quality transmission notes have a total call duration of less than 12 hours, while top-quality transmission notes have a total call duration of less than 7 days. At present, in the heavenly realm, both the upper and lower upper masters, all high-level cultivators basically distribute lower-level transmission notes to their own disciples and inner disciples every year, with varying amounts depending on the financial resources of the sect and high-level cultivators themselves. Undoubtedly, the market revenue in this area has always been considerable. As for Wanli Tong, the biggest regret is that the price is too expensive. When used normally, it consumes a lot of spirit stones, and even if most people can afford it, they cannot use it. For example, the Hehuan sect, as one of the only 6 secondary sects in the Heaven Quest realm, purchased only 4 Wanli Tongs in the name of the sect. There were over 3,000 disciples in the sect, and there was no one who owned these Wanli Tongs privately. Elder, we just added about 10 more people to watch our real-time recording online. However, they are too proactive in leaving comments online, and although I'm not slow, I still can't reply to them one by one. Look, do we need to tell the leader about this, and ask her to do a diversion for us, and then arrange another person to open a Wanli Tong to do recording and broadcasting? Half an hour later, Zhou Gu frowned slightly, and while writing the reply point on the mirror, he discussed with Gong Sunyu. Xiao Jiaojiao, who was originally lying down practicing while listening to nearby movements, immediately heard their movements and became interested. She began to concentrate her energy and listen to his conversation with Gong Sunyu. Gong Sunyu looked down at the online comments section displayed on Wanlatong and shook her head, saying, "No need, Wanlatong is too time-consuming. It's not cost-effective to open another one. Besides, in our Hehuan sect, you have the best image, popularity, language organization skills, and on-site communication skills. It's not appropriate for others to be too inferior to you." After speaking, Gong Sunyu suddenly noticed that there was an issue with a comment in the online comment section, and quickly reminded Zhou Gu, "Wait. The nickname, sitting and watching little sister bring new love, is a bit off. There was a trap in his question earlier, you can't reply like this. Hurry up and withdraw the message first." Zhou Gu quickly clicked on the recall function next to the already sent message. However, strangely enough, when a message is clicked to withdraw, it can be easily withdrawn, but this time it doesn't work. Surprisingly, the system automatically popped up a message replying to him. "Your reply has been subscribed to in advance by the other party, and withdrawal is prohibited." It's outrageous. When did the Master of Chaos Wuji Sect's Alchemy Workshop promote China and develop such a function? Zhou Gu was a bit muffled, but it was not easy to say anything. After all, Gong Sunyu had also noticed it, and it was not his fault. He pointed to sitting and watching the little sister bring her new love, and just asked, I heard that Chen Lianer really wants to marry Zhou Gu. Does Zhou Gu know about this? Do Chen Xianyuan know? Curiously asked Gong Sunyu. Elder Gong Sun, what did you find from this person's nickname and the passage he asked? End of this chapter. Chapter 4. No counseling. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. No counseling. Gong Sunyu looked serious and said, I didn't notice anything clearly. But with my 7 years of experience reading reviews on Wanlatong and dealing with various people on forums, I instinctively feel that this person's use of this nickname is problematic and there are traps in their questioning content. You replied to him, Lianer is a pure and self-centered good girl. This kind of baseless and damaging personal emotional joke should not be repeated. It's not appropriate, and he shouldn't give up. And he actually subscribed to your reply in advance, causing the system to prohibit you from retracting it. It is obvious that he is trying to catch a handle on your reply, which shows that my intuition is accurate. I have a premonition that he will continue to maliciously hold on to this issue and mobilize many people to hold on to it together. Lianer has always been following the leader's side and has never left the sect alone. She should not have offended anyone. I ask myself to be cautious in my actions, and there are no mistakes or missed opportunities. If this person, like Elder Gong Sun, insists on holding on to this issue in the future, it is likely that he knows that Lianer is engaged to Chen Xianyuan and is deliberately provoking trouble. Zhou Gu analyzed carefully. Gong Sunyu nodded and said, if you, Lianer, and Chen Xianyuan can be mentioned simultaneously on emotional matters, this person must be aware of Lianer's dependence on you and her engagement with Chen Xianyuan. However, just knowing is not enough. Without any reason, this person could not have chosen to ask you this question in public today. I suspect that he is doing this to seek revenge. After all, Lianer's father, Xiaokua, ascended to immortality and was controlled by a demon. After mistakenly killing his wife and daughter, he also killed many people who teamed up to surround and kill him under the guise of guarding the way against demons. Perhaps this person is one of the descendants of those people, and Xiaokua ascended to immortality 13 years ago. As he grew up, he couldn't seek revenge from Xiaokua, so he had to seek revenge from Lianer. The elder's analysis is very reasonable. Before, Lianer's soul was severely incomplete, unable to comprehend cultivation techniques, unable to practice, and posed no threat to the descendants of those people. It is likely that they did not take Lianer's existence seriously. Now that Lianer's soul has been replenished, she can immediately comprehend the cultivation technique. In just 1 hour, she has already broken through the first layer of qi refining and sprinted towards the second layer. Such exceptional aptitude inevitably makes the descendants of those people feel apprehensive. Elder Gong Sun, what should we do now? Zhou Gu was a bit worried. All we can think of is just doubt without conclusive evidence. It's not convenient to inform the leader or immediately plan and take the initiative to attack. Let's act on the opportunity first. Gong Sunyu thought for a moment and made a decision. After listening to the entire process of their discussion, Xiao Jiaojiao could no longer remain calm. This, sitting and watching the little sister bring her new love, is clearly aimed at her, and at such times, she cannot be discouraged. Zhou Gu and Gong Sunyu still lack sufficient life experience. As a dual PhD in psychology and marketing, based on her years of research on online forums and valuable experience, she knows very well that it is useless to deal with malicious matchmakers like sitting and watching a little sister bring new love. She must learn to lure the snake out of the hole and bite back. Without hesitation, she stood up from the bed and tiptoed to look at Zhou Gu and Gong Sunyu. Learning from Chen Lianer's previous address to Zhou Gu, she waved her hand a bit awkwardly and said, "Senior brother, quickly take the 10,000 li tong in your hand and come to me." Zhou Gu didn't expect Xiao Jiaojiao to suddenly wake up and greet him. He was stunned for a moment before walking toward Xiao Jiaojiao. He was dressed in a light blue traditional robe of a disciple of the Hehuan sect, with a slender and straight figure. His handsome face carried a friendly smile. Like a sword with long and delicate eyebrows, a pair of bright phoenix eyes, a prominent nose bridge, lips slightly raised like lotus leaves in the fields, thick and thin, with a square jaw and a prominent Adam's apple, giving an overall feeling. Although majestic, the charm is restrained and moderate. Although Xiao Jiaojiao had long belonged to Chen Lianer's memory and was familiar with his image, now that she saw it with her own eyes, she realized that his image not only met Chen Lianer's aesthetics, but also her own. No wonder, sitting and watching the little sister bring her new love, would say, I heard that Chen Lianer really wants to marry Zhou Gu, clearly prepared. To be honest, although Xiao Jiaojiao is not a beauty dog, through her deep love and attachment to Zhou Gu in Chen Lianer's memory, and seeing Zhou Gu's true face with her own eyes, she feels that Zhou Gu is a man who meets her own criteria for choosing a spouse in terms of appearance. It was Chen Mingyue who was very happy to see Xiao Jiaojiao getting up. She asked with concern, Lianer, are you awake? How do you feel now? Are you hungry? Do you want to eat something? Xiao Jiaojiao learned from Chen Lianer's previous way of addressing Chen Mingyue and responded somewhat awkwardly, Mom, I feel pretty good. I'm not hungry, I don't need to eat anything for now. Lianer, although you have risen, your body is still absorbing spiritual energy and sprinting towards the second level of qi refining, right? Ji Zuanchang suddenly interjected. He noticed that although Xiao Jiaojiao got up, her spiritual energy around her was still gradually becoming thin, and her internal cultivation was also significantly increasing. Xiao Jiaojiao answered truthfully, yes, Master Uncle. I have a high probability that I will break through the second level of qi refining in a little while. Since that's the case, why did you get up to find your senior brother and stop lying down to cultivate? Chen Mingyue couldn't understand. Because I just realized that the techniques I cultivate can operate on their own within my body after successfully introducing qi into my body. All I need to do is pour a small amount of attention into guiding the inner workings of my body, absorb the newly absorbed spiritual energy, and continuously flush the muscles and meridians in my body. My cultivation can continue to climb without any deliberate concentration, said Xiao Jiaojiao with a cheerful expression. She deliberately didn't mention that she had a hearing system and could hear everything moving within a radius of 10 miles. One is that this matter may not be clear for a while, and the other is that if no one knows this secret, the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. I see. Chen Mingyue felt relieved. Ji Zuanchang exclaimed excitedly, that's great. Now it can be confirmed that the martial arts practiced by Lianer must be at the level of Emperor Ancestor. Because even heavenly-level cultivation methods, according to records, do not possess the ability to continuously increase cultivation by pouring a small amount of attention to cooperate. There is a balance between misfortune and fortune. Previously, Lianer was unable to comprehend the cultivation techniques due to severe incomplete soul. She suffered a great loss in her practice. Now that she has such a fate, it can be considered as the mercy of the heavenly way. Tang Buyu looked pleased. At this moment, Zhou Gu had already arrived at Xiao Jiaojiao's bedside with his sword. Xiao Jiaojiao gestured for him to hand over the Wanli Tong in his hand to him. Then, Xiao Jiaojiao took the Wanli Tong and carefully read all the comments on, sitting and watching little sister bring new love. She found that besides the one she had left before, she had actually added 3 more. However, Zhou Gu has become more cautious this time, leaving 3 comments that he has not yet replied to. One is, Zhou Gu, have you ever liked Chen Lianer? One is, Zhou Gu, why don't you answer my question immediately like you do when answering other people's questions? Are you feeling guilty? Another one is, after Chen Lianer's soul returned to its original state, the first thing she did when she woke up was to find her senior brother. If she wanted to say that they had no tricks, even cats couldn't speak out. Xiao Jiaojiao stared at the 3 comments and thought for a moment. Just as she was about to respond, she suddenly remembered something that felt something was wrong. She asked Xiaoshigu in a low voice, "Senior brother, is there any anchor in Wanlatong's online real-time recording that can enable commentator positioning?" "Yes, but the permissions for this feature are sold at a very high price. Each hour requires spending a medium-grade spirit stone, and each purchase cannot be less than 3 hours, otherwise it will not be sold." Xiaoshigu replied. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Expert Tactics. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Expert Tactics, then buy it for 3 hours first. This sitting and watching the little sister bring her new love, is so audacious that he dares to use his senior brother, me, to challenge him. I need to know his current position in order to determine his true identity and accurately counterattack him. Xiao Jiaojiao decided without hesitation. Okay, Xiaoshigu nodded quickly. However, according to the rules, every expenditure on spiritual stones in the account of the Hehuan Patriarch on Wanlatong must be personally approved by Chen Mingyue before it can be disbursed. Chen Lianer, in his impression, may have been a very impatient person due to her severely incomplete soul and lack of understanding. Although Xiao Jiaojiao woke up with a normal expression after his soul returned to his original position, Xiaoshigu still felt a bit uneasy and afraid of rushing Xiao Jiaojiao. He did not consider using the spiritual stones pre-stored in the Wanlatong Hehuan Zhongzhu account to purchase, but directly used the spiritual stones pre-stored in his own Wanlatong account to purchase. Quickly, the system displayed the current location of all the commenters, including, sitting and watching little sisters bring new love. At the same time, the system also specially left a message. The anchor subscribes for the first time and has the permission to locate the commenter, with a special reward of free viewing. All commenters have the permission to follow the comment for half an hour. Among them, the position where, sitting and watching the little sister bring new love, is displayed is the 7th peak of the Chaos sect, the Gang Peak. All comments on, sitting and watching little sisters bring new lovers, have a nickname, emotional hollow not disordered, and are followed by people whose positions are displayed on the star-picking cliff. Previously, it was a follow-up review. Brothers Hua, we have known each other for 3 years. It's rare for you to have such gossip. I seriously doubt you, and it's highly likely that you are the mastermind of Qin Xianyuan, a man whom my deep boudoir resents. The first one just now was a follow-up review. What does liking count as? What Qin Xianyuan cares about should be whether Xiaoshigu has been intimate with Lianer. After all, close to the water, if Xiaoshigu had any intention, even if Lianer's soul was seriously incomplete and she didn't understand anything before, rumors have it that she is very dependent on Xiaoshigu. If Xiaoshigu wants to have something with her, it's not difficult at all. The second one is follow-up evaluation. This kind of question is really boring, just like the face of a shrew, it's a bit tasteless. The third one is follow-up evaluation. Brothers Hua, why did you just transform into a shrew and then into a jealous woman again? It's easy to have inner demons like this. Please calm down. Ha ha ha. Although this nickname emotional hollow not chaotic is a bit sleazy, it's not stupid. It seems that my intuition and speculation are both right. There is a very high probability that Qin Xianyuan is the one who sits and watches the little sister bring new love. After carefully reading the 4 follow-up comments, Xiao Jiaojiao pointed to them and told Xiaoshigu with a smile. Xiaoshigu had a worried expression on his face and said, Lianer, if Qin Xianyuan really is sitting and watching the little sister bring new love, it would be too scary. Why? Qin Jiaojiao asked curiously. Xiaoshigu said, because I have seen him several times, both in my impression and in rumors, he is a humble gentleman with a bright and beautiful moon. His speech and behavior are impeccable, and there is no similarity with, sitting happily, old sister brings new lover. Xiao Jiaojiao understood his meaning, which meant that if Qin Xianyuan was just sitting and watching the little sister bring new love, it would mean that Qin Xianyuan was a completely hypocritical person with a completely different appearance. However, she had already been mentally prepared. If things are really like this, it's actually considered normal. After all, if Chen Xianyuan were a good person, Ji Hao wouldn't have deliberately found her in a different world. He asked her to promise to guide Chen Xianyuan and grow into a pure and virtuous person like her, with a strong foundation. She calmly said to Zhou Gu, even if Chen Xianyuan is a hypocrite, it doesn't matter. Senior brother, don't forget that he's not even 15 years old this year, very young, and there's plenty of time to stop at the cliff. After speaking, she directly replied to the 3 comments on Zhou Gu's behalf, sitting and watching the little sister bring her new love. The first response is, what does liking count as? You can ask me if I have ever loved, thank you. The second response is, no, it's your kidney deficiency. The third response is, Chen Xianyuan, please shut up. I know it's you. You knew I was your fiancé AE for over a decade, but when you looked at me from the future Hehuan sect, it would be good if I didn't trouble you. How dare you come to trouble me with a vest on your back? I owe you a beating. After the reply was completed, Xiao Jiaojiao didn't wait for a response from sit and watch the little sister bring her new love, before returning Wanli Tong to Zhou Gu, indicating that Zhou Gu would continue to do real-time recording for herself. Because she can sense from the flow of spiritual energy in her body that she has gradually reached a critical moment to break through the second layer of qi refining. At such moments, it is better not to be distracted and cautious. She lay back in bed, began to concentrate and guide the spiritual energy inside her body, sprinting from her limbs to the dantian, constantly expanding the dantian and enhancing the concentration of spiritual energy stored in it. Qi refining level 2. It's been less than an hour since I was promoted to Qi refining level 1, and Liener surprisingly broke through to Qi refining level 2 in one breath. It's truly my brother. Law Xiaoqua's bone and blood. About a quarter of an hour later, Ji Zuanchang suddenly burst out in sincere admiration. Master, this is not the point. The point is that after successfully breaking through the second layer of Qi refining, Liener did not pause, and her speed of absorbing spiritual energy throughout her body was still gradually becoming stronger. This indicates that she still has great potential, breaking through the third layer of Qi refining with one go. Tang Buyu was also somewhat excited. Chen Mingyue was even more excited than them. That's great. Liener has such a fate now, not only thanks to the mercy of the heavenly way, but also thanks to the help of Master Yu Xian and senior brother. Thank you. Huh, you're welcome, it's all our own people, Tang Buyu smiled and waved his hand. Yeah. Mingyue, don't forget that Xiaoqua is my brother. Law, and Liener should be considered my niece. As an outsider, I cannot comment on the relationship between you and my younger brother Xiaoqua. If you don't forgive him, I have no objection. But I hope you won't see me out because of him. Ji Zuanchang smiled helplessly and stroked his beard. Okay. That guy used to kill his wife and preach under the influence of a demon. Although I will never forgive him, I will not provoke anyone, especially someone as respected as Master Yu Xian, Chen Mingyue said with some emotion. Ji Zuanchang took the opportunity to mention something. Mingyue, although my younger brother Xiao Qua ascended to the upper realm 13 years ago, the Xiao family is still here. I heard that in recent years, the head of the Xiao family has personally led people to negotiate with you twice and 3 times, asking Liener to recognize her ancestors and return home, but they have all been rejected by Liener. What's going on? Master Xian, I have never stopped Liener from returning to her ancestors. It was Liener herself who refused. I don't know why, maybe the Xiao family didn't have a relationship with her. Chen Mingyue smiled bitterly. Ji Zuanchang felt relieved and said, I see. This may also be because Liener's soul was seriously incomplete and immature before, which is why she did this. Now, her soul is complete and I believe she is already sensible. I immediately sent a message to the Supreme Elder of the Xiao family, informing Liener that his soul had fully returned and asking him to personally bring someone to meet Liener and bring her back to her ancestors. Chen Mingyue nodded. Ji Tsuanchang also said, besides, after Lianer's soul returns to her position, her cultivation qualifications are very good, and she can definitely learn more things. Mingyue, do you think we should consider making her an exchange student next month and join the Chaos Wuji sect to learn from me the swordsmanship and formation techniques of our Chaos Wuji sect? Master Yu Xian, thank you for giving Liener this opportunity. You are the strongest one in the heavenly realm, and it is an honor for Liener to become your disciple. I have no objection at all. However, Liener has grown up and her soul has returned to her place. It is no longer convenient for me to directly make decisions for her, so I need to ask her opinion first and then give you an answer, Chen Mingyue said sincerely. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Kidney deficiency has reasons. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Kidney deficiency has reasons, why don't you ask? I'll ask her myself now. Ji Tsuanchang laughed. He immediately looked at Xiao Jiaojiao, who had already sat up from the bed, and said, Liener, did you originally intend to join the Chaos Wuji sect as an exchange student next month and learn from me the swordsmanship and formation techniques of our Chaos Wuji sect? Xiao Jiaojiao has just successfully broken through the second layer of qi refining, so there is no need to concentrate all his mind on cultivation for now. She was originally planning to ask Xiaoshigu for a 10,000-mile pass to see if she had already replied to her 3 messages and left a new message. She did not pay attention to the conversation between Chen Mingyue, Tang Buyu, and Ji Tsuanchang just now. Upon hearing Ji Tsuanchang's inquiry, she thought for a moment and said, Master Uncle, I would be happy to join the Chaos Wuji sect and learn swordsmanship and formation techniques from you. However, I want to wait until the foundation is successfully built before learning. Do you think it's okay? Ji Tsuanchang nodded and said, okay. Judging from your current breakthrough speed, it is estimated that within 3 months, it will be enough to build a successful foundation. I haven't had anything to do lately, so I'll just be here to protect you for 3 months. After you successfully build the foundation, I'll take you back to the Chaos Infinity sect together. Okay, thank you, Master. You are really my good uncle. Xiao Jiaojiao smiled sweetly. Subsequently, she stood up and asked Xiaoshigu for Wanlatong, carefully examining it. The latest reply of sitting and watching little sister bring new love consists of 3 parts, each of which is more aggressive than Xiao Jiaojiao's previous reply. The first one is, Chen Lianer, do you really care if Xiaoshigu loves you? The second one is, Chen Lianer, the part of your soul that you have returned to seems to have a very rich experience in male and female relationships. So, is the body that your soul previously possessed still intact? The third one is, Chen Lianer, what is the reason why you think I am Chen Xianyuan? What confidence makes you feel like you can yell at me 3 times, even say you want to beat me up? Although Xiao Jiaojiao previously used Xiaoshigu's account to reply with, sitting and watching little sister bring new love, her reply style was completely different from Xiaoshigu's. Being guessed by, sitting and watching little sister bring new love, was nothing. Considering that Chen Xianyuan did not explicitly deny his identity when she guessed it, and she deliberately did not explicitly deny her own identity, she thought for a moment and replied one by one. The first response is, Chen Lianer's previous soul was severely incomplete, no different from an idiot. How could she possibly understand anything about love and affection? Chen Xianyuan, all you have in your mind is feces. You need to take 3 liters of water diluted daily to return to normal as soon as possible. The second response is, with such rich imagination, there is indeed a reason for kidney deficiency. Chen Xianyuan, are you okay? The third response is, as long as you explicitly acknowledge that you are Chen Xianyuan, I will give you the answer you need. After replying, Xiao Jiaojiao noticed that there were several interesting new replies from others. While flipping through them, she was surprised to find that, sitting and watching the little sister bring her new love, had all been commented on after these new replies. One is a previous review of Sitting and Watching Little Sisters Bring New Lovers, with the address showing, Picking Stars Cliff, and the nickname Emotional Hollow Not Chaotic. To be honest, when the camera got closer just now, I realized that Lianer is truly beautiful. Love, love, I'll kiss you first, with a red lip print between the words, kiss, and, for. The following is a review of Sitting and Watching Little Sisters Bring New Love. Chen Lianer does have some beauty, but Brother Qing has always had a high eye. Where can you tell that she is truly beautiful? Response. Sitting brother, you are too young to recognize true beauty. If you want to know the reason, please pay for a high-quality spirit stone, and I will give you the answer. Then, it is estimated that, Sitting and Watching the Little Sister Bring Her New Love, paid him a top-quality spirit stone, and, the sentiment is hollow and not chaotic, followed by a reply. 3 reasons. 1. Lianer did not undergo plastic surgery. 2. Lianer didn't put on makeup. 3. After Lianer just broke through, her exposed skin showed no signs of impurities being excreted, still so pure and delicate, shining brightly, suspected to have a scale. Free Constitution. 1 is a review with the address displaying Fu Yanfeng and the nickname Beauty Mistakes My Youth Heart. The disciple upstairs really dares to kiss. However, if I had been so brave back then, I wouldn't have been single for hundreds of years. Young is so good. The following is a review of Sitting and Watching Little Sisters Bring New Lovers. Taoists are really good at playing. Beauty misleads my youthful heart, reply. Sitting younger brother, you don't understand. When you are young, you should take advantage of your friendship. The most beautiful feelings are in the deep boudoir. Don't say that words are unforeseeable. 1 is a review with the address displaying Ginkgo Valley and the nickname, Come Again. I want to say that whether it's a person, a demon, or a demon, a girl's physical appearance is beautiful, which makes her more enduring. Besides, being young and having fair skin is really important, and having a flawless physique is really rare. Lianer perfectly fits my aesthetic preferences when I was young, but unfortunately, I am already old, that's all. It's okay. The following is a review of Sitting and Watching Little Sisters Bring New Love. Everyone in Fangsuan Road is old and their hearts are also old, truly worthy of the pursuit of the path of nature. I admire them. Coming again, ignored the comments of Sitting and Watching the Little Sister Bring Her New Love. 1 is a review with the address showing Lingxiao Mountain Villa and the nickname, My Heart Demon, I Make the Decision. Before, swords were my love. In the future, my sword will cherish my child with me. The following is a review of Sitting and Watching Little Sisters Bring New Love. My heart, your sword must not have a sword spirit yet. My mind demon, I make the decision, reply. Well, there isn't. However, sitting dumbfounded, you have been biting Zhou Gu and Chen Lianer tightly all day, something is not right. Shouldn't you really be Chen Xianyuan? Sitting and Watching the Little Sister Bring New Love, followed by a review. The account, Sitting and Watching Sister Bring New Love, is indeed Chen Xuanyuan's account, but I am not Chen Xianyuan. My mind demon, I am in charge, replied again. Who are you then? Sitting and Watching the Little Sister Bring New Love, continues to follow up with comments. I am the most beautiful man in the world. There is a dynamic picture after the word Z, which shows a man wearing a purple gold mask waving his sword in the clouds. With each swing, the world changes color. My mind demon, I make the decision, reply. Come again. Is that person wearing a purple gold mask really you? Sitting and Watching Little Sister Bring New Love, review. Yes, heaven and earth can be discerned, and the true essence and self can be confirmed. My heart, this is the 13th time I have sent you a body movement picture. Have you become obsessed with me? Do you want to marry me? My mind demon, I make the decision, reply. Not getting married. I'm not obsessed with you. Before, swords were my love. In the future, my sword will cherish my child with me. Sitting and Watching Little Sister Bring New Love, review. My heart is broken. There is a dynamic picture after the word lu, which shows a scene of a heart exploding and shattered. My mind demon, I make the decision, did not reply to him again. After reading these, Xiao Jiaojiao frowned and thought for a moment. Pointing to the interaction between sitting and watching sister bring new love and my heart demon I make the decision, she told Zhou Gu, from what sitting and watching sister bring new love and my heart demon I make the decision, it seems that this sitting and watching sister bring new love is probably not Qin Xianyuan. Zhou Gu's expression lit up and he said, "That's great." Qin Jiaojiao didn't understand his happiness and shook his head. "It's not Qin Xianyuan, but you can use Qin Xuanyuan's account to deal with us. This is not much different from Qin Xianyuan himself personally dealing with us." End of this chapter. Chapter 7. The Gentleman of Duanfang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. The Gentleman of Duanfang. Perhaps there is a misunderstanding here. For example, Qin Xuanyuan's account was stolen by someone, or for example, this person is Qin Xuanyuan's close elder, and Qin Xianyuan is not on guard against him. Zhou Gu tried to analyze the benefits. Xiao Jiaojiao had a clear idea in her heart and waved her hand. "Senior brother, you don't need to think of excuses for him. I have a way to force him out and explain everything to us clearly." After speaking, Xiao Jiaojiao directly commented after the interaction between sitting and watching sister bring new love and my heart demon, I make the decision. Qin Xianyuan, you are the owner of the sitting and watching sister bring new love account. No matter if I use the account sitting and watching sister bring new love to impress me today, whether it's you yourself or someone else you have instructed, I won't tolerate it. You wait. After completing the follow-up review, Xiao Jiaojiao asked Zhou Gu to use a photo-taking stone to record the entire process of using the account sitting and watching little sister bring new love to showcase her, as well as the follow-up reviews after sitting and watching little sister bring new love in emotional hollow not disordered, beauty mistakes my youth heart, coming again, and my heart demon I make the decision. But friendly blocking of the current location information of emotional emptiness is not chaotic, beauty misleads my youthful heart, come again, and my heart demon I make the decision. Then Zhou Gu was asked to directly record the content recorded on the shadow stone on Wanli Tong, repeatedly rolling for an hour. After reaching the point, she recorded her cultivation actions in real time for an hour, and then continued to rotate in this mode. After finishing all of this, she deliberately loudly told Chen Mingyue, Tang Buyu, and Ji Zuanchang about it. Chen Mingyue didn't expect such a situation to occur, and her face turned pale with anger. However, due to Tang Buyu being Qin Xuanyuan's master and Ji Zuanchang being Qin Xuanyuan's ancestor, she did not have a fit on the spot. She just looked at Tang Buyu with confusion and then at Ji Zuanchang. Tang Buyu and Ji Zuanchang did not expect such a situation to occur. However, Tang Buyu's expression was relatively calm. He told Chen Mingyue and Xiao Jiaojiao, the account that Liener mentioned about sitting and watching the little sister bring new love is indeed Yuaners. However, 2 months ago, Yuan Air achieved a satisfactory cultivation in the middle stage of foundation building and has been on the peak of Wuji Peak. She closed her door and sprinted towards the peak of foundation building in the later stage. It is expected to take at least half a month before she can pass. This time, it is possible that his cousin Chen Panpan deliberately played a prank while he was in seclusion. Because Chen Panpan gave the account nickname and password of Yuaner, who is known as sitting and watching little sister bring new love, in front of me and Yuaner. Chen Mingyue still felt a bit uneasy and said, Buyu, as you mentioned to me before, Qin Xuanyuan's cultivation qualifications are very outstanding, and below the golden elixir stage, as long as his qualifications are good and his spiritual energy is abundant, it is easy to sprint and break through. I remember Qin Xuanyuan's mother, Qin Qianrong, went from the middle stage of foundation construction to the peak of the later stage, taking 2 months and 3 days. Qin Xianyuan is the son of Qin Qianrong. His father, as we all know, is highly likely to be Xianyuan Su, the strongest person in the heavenly realm and the master of the Xianyuan secret realm who ascended 3,000 years ago. Therefore, his qualifications should not be inferior to Qin Qianrong at least. This means that Qin Xianyuan may have already left the border early. Tang Buyu felt a bit embarrassed. In fact, Tang Buyu somewhat agrees with Chen Mingyue's analysis in his heart. After all, Chen Xuanyuan's cultivation qualifications are indeed very good. For example, in the last time, Chen Xianyuan was successful from the early stage of foundation construction to the middle stage of closed-door impact foundation construction, which only took half a month. His own qualifications are not as good as Chen Xuanyuan's, but his strength lies in his solid foundation. He successfully completed his junior high school years at Jianji, and achieved his peak success in the later stage of Jianji through seclusion, which took him 2.5 months. He estimated that Chen Xianyuan would complete his junior high school years at the foundation building stage and achieve the peak of success in the later stage of foundation building through seclusion. It would take about 2.5 months, and that's not a mistake. In addition, he has always believed that Chen Xianyuan is a young man like a shining moon, and does not believe that Chen Xianyuan will touch Zhou Gu and Chen Jiaojiao. In order to prove Chen Xuanyuan's innocence, he thought for a moment and took out the transmission note from his sleeve, injected spiritual power, and prepared to transmit the message to Chen Xianyuan. He directly asked everything in person. At the same time, on the Wuji peak of the Chaos Wuji sect, which is more than 800 miles away from the Hehuan sect, in a delicate cave, a young man with delicate eyebrows and eyes sat upright in front of a white jade table, holding a 10,000-mile pass in his left hand and a slender index finger in his right hand. He scanned the content displayed on the live broadcast interface of the Hehuan sect, recorded by Zhou Gu using a photo stone, about sitting and watching the little sister leave a new love, and furrowed his brows slightly. Father, it seems that as my fiancée A.E., after returning to her position with her soul intact, she has some intelligence and skills. The young man looked at a man wearing a purple gold mask across from the white jade table. This man, regardless of his dress, body shape and temperament, is exactly the same as the man wearing a purple and gold mask in the dynamic picture of sitting watching the little sister send a new lover to my devil is my master. She is just a little girl whose soul has just returned to her original state, and she is only on the second level of qi refining now, so there is no need to worry, said the man wearing a purple gold mask, dismissive. But, father, this is Wentian realm. The leaders of the 3 great uprising schools and the 6 great quasi-uprising schools are almost all very concerned about personal image. Chen Lianer has now caught you commenting on that I am the master of my inner demons account, saying that this sitting and watching little sister bring new love account is my handle, and all the comments you posted on this account today have been made public. This will seriously damage the image of a dignified gentleman who has been painstakingly crafted over the years. It can't harm. You honor, don't forget that at this time, you should still be at the peak of the late stage of building the foundation in seclusion. Where do you have the time and energy to leave comments for thousands of miles? The man wearing a purple gold mask still didn't agree. But, father, don't forget. In order to enjoy the treatment of free viewing of others' locations, as well as leaving and following reviews, I deliberately went to the refining workshop in front of my master and cousin, as a disciple passed down by the head of my Chaos Infinity sect, to register this sitting and watching little sister bring new love account. Now, my master and my ancestor are by Chen Lianer's side. Chen Lianer only needs to find them to verify, and I can't get rid of the connection. The more the young man said, the tighter his brow grew. At this moment, as if to echo his concerns, the transmitted notes on his body suddenly lit up. He looked down and found that it was his master Tang Buyu who wanted to pass the message. He quickly pretended not to notice that the note was on and did not turn on the note. After a while, the sound symbols stopped shining. He thought for a moment and glanced at the man wearing a purple gold mask across from him. He said in a warm voice, "Father, we don't lack spirit stones right now. In the future, you should still spend your own spirit stones, buy a Wanlatong, and register a different account to use them. I have decided that in the future, my Wanlatong account and my sitting and watching little sister bring new love account will be used solely by me. The man wearing a purple gold mask immediately stiffened his face and said, "Your Honor, are you going to be separated from me because of such a small matter?" End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Unable to compare. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Unable to compare. The young man was already prepared and shook his head, saying, "It's not a matter of fate, father. I'm also doing it for your own good. You have always been careless in your words and actions, which is vastly different from mine. If you continue to use my account on Wanlatong, my master, ancestor, and others will sooner or later discover clues and find you. In recent years, in order to prevent my master and ancestor from discovering your existence and finding you, you have been asking me to communicate with you in terms of spiritual consciousness only 5 meters away from my master and 50 meters away from my ancestor. Only when you are 1 kilometer away from them can you appear and see me. Are you going to change your mind now?" "No, I was just in a hurry and didn't consider these things. 7 years ago, as I told you, 3,000 years ago, I fought against the demon ancestor, and after eliminating him, my shameless friend Xiaoshigu launched a surprise attack while my body and spirit were weak. Helpless, I had to abandon my body, the vast majority of my incarnations, and most of my divine souls, leaving behind a small number of incarnations and a strand of residual souls that have been passed down through my body's bloodline, and escape back here. 15 years ago, when my spirit gradually recovered, I met your mother and had you. However, I was betrayed again by a friend whom I had helped in the Shenyuan secret realm, which led to your mother's murder. We became orphans and widowers. So now, I can't trust anyone except you. I don't doubt the character of most of the Shenyuan family members, as well as your uncles, masters, and ancestors, but I can't trust them. They have the ability to distinguish between loyalty and treachery, so I have to avoid them." The more the man wearing the Zijin mask said, the heavier his tone became. The young man quickly comforted him and said, "Father, the past is already over. You don't need to think too much. I will continue to practice hard as you instructed, in order to ascend to the upper realm as soon as possible, find your shameless friend Xiaoshigu in the upper realm, and seek revenge for you." The man wearing a purple gold mask had a moved expression on his face and said, "Good. Good child. I know your intentions. In the future, your Wanlatong and the registered account and password will be used by you as you said. I will follow your suggestion, spend my own lingsher, buy another Wanlatong, and register a new account to use. Also, father, I must emphasize again that I don't need an extra brother or sister to alleviate the pressure of revenge. After you successfully reshape your body, if you really like the woman you met on Wanlatong and nicknamed my heart demon, I'm in control, you can consider taking her as a concubine, but it's better not to get married or have children," the young man said seriously. "However, Your Honor, I have checked and found that I am in charge of my inner demons is not an ordinary woman. Her true identity is the young master of Lingxiao Mountain Villa. A woman with such an identity is impossible to be a concubine for someone. Moreover, if she were to be your stepmother, it wouldn't insult you. After all, the Chen family behind your mother is equally strong as Lingxiao Mountain Villa," said the man with a purple gold mask with a puzzled expression. "Then it's up to you. I only have one mother anyway, and my mother has neither been engaged to you nor married by you openly. Since you intend to marry another woman, as long as I don't recognize your father at that time, my mother naturally cannot be regarded as your concubine." The young man stiffened his face and brushed his sleeves away. The man wearing a purple gold mask was slightly stunned, but still sat at the table and did not catch up. Instead, he looked at the direction of the young man's departure with a faint and disgusted gaze, and made a "ba" gesture with his mouth. At the same time, on the Yuhui cliff, Tang Buyu discovered Chen Shenyuan and had not received his message for a long time, so he had to reluctantly close the transmission note. He chuckled and told Chen Mingyue, "Your Honor should still be in seclusion, sprinting towards the peak of the late stage of foundation building, and hasn't received my message. It doesn't matter, anyway, I have already planned to terminate his engagement with my family's Lianer after Lianer's soul is fully restored. He can't stay in seclusion and not come out, Chen Mingyue said calmly. 15 days later. At the top of the Yuhui cliff, where Chen Mingyue, the leader of the Hehuan sect, the second highest sect in the Wentian realm, resided, the sun still slanted westward, and the afterglow was lingering. Chen Mingyue, along with Tang Buyu and Lao Ji Zuanchang, still wielded their swords in the air and stood above the altar in the middle of the cliff-top formation. Their gaze was fixed on the purple jade bed lying about 5 meters ahead on the altar, where Xiao Jiaojiao lay. More than 20 elders, protectors, and deacons of the Hehuan sect not far behind them, as well as thousands of disciples of the Hehuan sect not far behind these 20 elders, protectors, and deacons, still maintain the same posture and state as they did 15 days ago. On the purple jade bed of the altar, Xiao Jiaojiao was enveloped by a rich milky white spiritual energy, as if sleeping soundly with a peaceful expression. The only difference is that her speed of absorbing spiritual energy is getting faster and faster, and the movement of spiritual energy around her body is becoming easier to detect. Except for Chen Mingyue, Tang Buyu, and Ji Zuanchang, all three of them have been able to clearly investigate, as well as the more than 20 elders, protectors, deacons, and thousands of disciples of the Hehuan sect behind them. The fifth level of qi refining. Since 15 days ago when qi was infused into her body, it has only been 15 days, and Lianer has surprisingly broken through to the fifth level of qi refining in one breath. It's truly my brother. In Law Xiaoqua's blood and blood. Ji Zuanchang once again burst out in sincere admiration. Chen Mingyue beside him and more than 20 elders, protectors, and deacons of the Hehuan sect behind him, as well as thousands of disciples of the Hehuan sect, remained somewhat indifferent to this. Mainly, starting from Xiao Jiaojiao breaking through the third level of qi refining, these days, every time Xiao Jiaojiao breaks through one level of cultivation, Ji Zuanchang will pay special attention to praising, worthy of Xiaoqua's bone and blood. Everyone has been completely immune. But Tang Bai, after hearing these words many times, felt a little dissatisfied and said, "Master, your sworn brother Xiaoqua is immortal, but he doesn't have the qualifications of Lianer. Xiaoqua, the immortal, once told me that after successfully introducing qi into his body, it took him nearly 4 months to break through the fifth layer of qi refining. Even so, it's always better than you. After successfully introducing qi into your body, it took you 7 months to break through the fifth level of qi refining." Ji Zuanchang stared at Tang unwaveringly. Tang Buyu smiled bitterly and said, "I can't compare with Xiaoqua to become an immortal. However, I remember that 672 years ago, at the beginning of the 76th Centenary Talent Conference, the master of Mingyue Junior sister told you something in public as soon as she saw you. Do you remember what it was?" Ji Kunchangzi pondered for a moment, glanced meaningfully at Chen Mingyue and then at Tang Buyu, smiled and shook his head, without answering Tang Buyu's words. Chen Mingyue joined the fun with some curiosity and said, "Master Xian again, can't you remember?" Ji Zuanchang shook his head and said, "I remember, but I didn't expect that such a small matter would still be remembered by Buyu in my heart." "Hee, I have always had a good memory," Tang Buyu chuckled. "Yeah, as long as it's about your crush, whether it's big or small, true or false, you have a good memory." Ji Cun Changbai glanced at him and continued to shake his head. "What exactly is it?" Chen Mingyue became even more curious. She looked at Ji Zuanchang, then at Tang Buyu, and finally fixed her questioning gaze on Tang Buyu. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Is really beautiful. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 is really beautiful. Tang Buyu felt embarrassed to bring up this matter in public. He could only awkwardly deliver a divine message to Chen Mingyue, saying, "Your master told me at that time that he had received a disciple with particularly good qualifications." It took him less than 3 months from introducing qi into his body to building the foundation, and it was already the peak cultivation in the later stage of building the foundation. He also said that his disciples' talent competition between the ages of 10 and 20 was sure to win the championship. That's just me. Chen Mingyue suddenly realized and blurted out. Later, she realized something was wrong and awkwardly transmitted a message to Tang Buyu with her divine sense. Why did Master Xian just present me in front of you, calling me your beloved, even though you were all focused on the Tao? Does he have any misunderstanding with us? Tang Buyu smiled bitterly and said, no, my master just likes to joke, especially when it comes to me. Mingyue, please don't take it to heart. Of course I won't take it to heart. When I liked you back then, I once confessed to you in front of Master Yuxian and many others, but you immediately refused with the reason of being devoted to the Tao. It is evident that your heart towards the Tao is incredibly resolute. It is unlikely that there will be a crush, and it is also impossible for it to be me. Chen Mingyue had no psychological burden. Tang Buyu felt relieved, but couldn't help but let out a deep sigh in his heart. Actually, he lied, and Ji Tsuanchang was not joking. When he refused Chen Mingyue's confession, he was truly devoted to the Tao, and even warmly introduced Chen Mingyue to Xiaokuo. But he never dreamed of it. Later, I don't know when it started, and he gradually filled his heart with Chen Mingyue. From then on, he couldn't let go anymore. He felt a lot of pain in his heart for this. On the day before Chen Mingyue and Xiaokuo held their wedding ceremony, he finally mustered up the courage and planned to go find Chen Mingyue to express his feelings and fight for the last chance. However, outside Chen Mingyue's cave, he was stopped by his master Zong Baishan. Zong Baishan said that he knew why he was looking for Chen Mingyue because of his thoughts on Chen Mingyue. Over the years, Zong Baishan had already recognized this. However, he and Chen Mingyue are both senior disciples of their respective sects and future successors in charge. The matter between him and Chen Mingyue is not only their own, but also requires the consent of Zong Baishan and Ji Tsuanchang at the same time. Then, the two sides will enter into a sect agreement to elevate the relationship between Chaos Wuji sect and Hehuan sect to the next level. Based on the fact that Xiaokuo and Chen Mingyue are already quasi-Taoist couples, Zong Baishan will not give him the opportunity to express his thoughts to Chen Mingyue until Ji Tsuanchang signs a sect agreement with Zong Baishan. Zong Baishan had no choice but to return to the Chaos Wuji sect and truthfully tell Ji Tsuanchang everything. Ji Tsuanchang was not hesitant and immediately agreed to take him to see Zong Baishan. Unexpectedly, Zong Baishan took the opportunity to propose two conditions that they could not accept. He felt helpless. I had to keep my feelings for Chen Mingyue hidden deep in my heart. Buyu, someone is looking for you. The transmission notes on your body are shining. At this moment, Ji Tsuanchang suddenly reminded Tang Buyu in a low voice. Tang Bai immediately regained his senses, took out the transmission note from his sleeve, and infused his spiritual power into it. In the notes, a magnetic and warm male voice immediately came. Master, I just came out of seclusion, opened the Wanli Tong, saw the real time recording of the Hehuan sect, saw your and Shizu's figures on the Yuhui cliff, and also saw some misunderstandings about me. Also, there's something I haven't told you yet. In the past 3 years, I have considered that my fiancée A.E. Liener is extremely beautiful, but due to her severe incomplete soul, she cannot comprehend the cultivation techniques and cannot practice. I am afraid that I will not be able to protect her in the future, so I have always chosen to bury my head in cultivation and wait until I have the ability to protect her before appearing in front of her. Now that her soul has all returned to her place and she can practice, I want to come and see her, express my thoughts to her, and clarify the misunderstanding 15 days ago. But I'm afraid it might seem presumptuous. Master, look, what should I do now? Miss Mingyue, what do you think? Tang Buyu directly threw the question to Chen Mingyue. Chen Mingyue's expression was calm. Let him come over. After speaking, Chen Mingyue flew his sword to the purple jade bed and waved at Xiao Jiaojiao, saying, "Lianer, Chen Xianyuan will come to see you soon. You come to my mother's sword, and my mother will take you to stand next to Uncle Tang and Master Yu Xian. Let's see what he has to say together." "But, mother, I only have the 5th level of cultivation for refining qi and cannot wield swords. Moreover, I have not learned the art of flying qi and cannot fly in the air. I'm afraid I'll wait on your sword, and if I don't stand firm, I'll fall and die." Xiao Jiaojiao was a little scared and didn't dare to move. She has successfully broken through the 5th layer of qi refining just now, and there is no need to concentrate all her mind on cultivation for now. She will be with Chen Xianyuan for a while, no problem. However, the sword under Chen Mingyue's feet was too narrow, only 2 fingers wide. Unlike the altar and the purple jade bed, at least the former was not suspended in the air, while the latter was 3 meters wide and 5 meters long. Even at a height of tens of thousands of feet, it was very convenient to stand on. "I'm sorry, Lianer, it's because my mother didn't consider it carefully." Chen Mingyue didn't think so much earlier and quickly apologized sincerely. She put away her sword and took out a palm-sized cloud boat from the storage ring, offering it to the air. The cloud boat quickly transformed into a large boat about 30 meters long and 9 meters wide. In the middle of the big boat, there is a jade round table with a diameter of about 5 feet, and there are 6 jade round stools beside the table. She reached out to grab Xiao Jiaojiao's waist and jumped onto the cloud boat with her. Then, she turned around to greet Tang Buyu, Ji Zuanchang, and Zhou Gu, who was recording Chen Lianer, and also came onto the cloud boat. Soon, Chen Xianyuan arrived at Yunzhou by connecting the teleportation array between Chaos Wuji sect and Hehuan sect. He is not yet 15 years old this year, and was born on the same year, month, and day as Chen Lianer, but at a different time. Chen Lianer was born in the middle of the night, while he was born in the morning, which means that on the surface, Chen Lianer is 4 hours older than him. However, his mother Chen Qianrong became pregnant more than 3 months earlier than Chen Lianer. If we include the time in the womb, he is still 3 months older than Chen Lianer. He had met Chen Lianer from the future Hehuan sect before, but in Xiao Jiaojiao's mind, there were many impressions of him in Chen Lianer's memories. Because Sun Yu, Chen Lianer's wet nurse and the second eldest husband of Hehuan Zhang, often takes photos of him to show Chen Lianer and tells her that he is Chen Lianer's fiancé. Xiao Jiaojiao already had a deep understanding of whether he looked good or not. Now, seeing him with her own eyes, Xiao Jiaojiao still has to sigh in her heart. It's really beautiful. Although he is not yet 15 years old, he has a relatively tall stature, and looks more than Xiao Jiaojiao, which is more than half a head higher. Today, he did not deliberately dress up. He was wearing a jade white robe, with thick black hair tied high with a hollowed-out and carved purple gold crown. His skin was not very fair, but his facial features were very distinctive. He had 2 slender sword eyebrows, a pair of smirk-like eyebrow eyes, a high nose bridge, and a slightly eagle-hooked nose base. His 2 thin lips were as if they had been slightly brushed by the sun, with a light red glow that shone brightly. He smiled and respectfully bowed to Chen Mingyue, Tang Buyu, and Ji Zuanchang, saying, "Xianyuan has met Aunt Chen, Master, and Master." End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Clash. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Clash. Tang Buyu and Ji Zuanchang coincidentally nodded solemnly at Chen Xianyuan. Chen Mingyue waved to him blandly. "Don't be so polite, nephew Xianyuan. Your mother Qianrong and I are in love with sisters. You are not an outsider in front of me." After finishing speaking, Chen Mingyue pointed at Xiao Jiaojiao and said, "This is my beloved child. Although I conceived more than 3 months later than your mother, my beloved child was born 4 hours earlier than you. You can call her little sister Lianer. Miss Lianer, hello." Chen Xianyuan followed suit with ease, his expression natural, his smile still unchanged, and his clear gaze exuded a hint of warmth. It is obvious that this is a highly skilled social talent. Xiao Jiaojiao felt at ease and responded with a smile, "Hello, brother Yuan." After speaking, she realized that the title, Yuan Big Brother, was a bit inappropriate. Her gaze turned and she smiled and said, "I can't get used to calling you Big Brother. In the future, I might as well skip it and just call you Yuan." Chen Xianyuan was slightly taken aback, his gaze fixed on Xiao Jiaojiao, and then he smiled and said, "Okay. My elders call me Yuan. Although Miss Liena was born 4 hours earlier than me, she is my sister, and I am willing to be your Yuan." "You are really playing with such ambiguity." Xiao Jiaojiao felt wary and said with a smirk, "This is just a simple matter of address, Yuan heir doesn't need to involve too much." Chen Mingyue took the opportunity to answer, "Yes, Xianyuan, you no longer follow the rules 3 years ago and send people to give New Year's gifts to me and Liena. I believe you can no longer accept the decision of your mother and me to marry you and my family Liena through fingertips. 15 days ago, the account you registered on Wanlatong deliberately bumped into my disciple Zhou Gu and my family Liena, which shows your deep resentment. It is already extremely deep. The saying goes, a bitter melon is not sweet. Although your mother is no longer here, I can still make the decision. I won't let the decisions made back then become thorns in your flesh again. Today, you have come just in time. Please return the tokens to my family's Liena in front of your master and your ancestor, and officially terminate the engagement." Chen Xianyuan immediately frowned in shock and said, "Aunt Chen, there is a misunderstanding between us. Sister Liena is my crush, and I have no intention of terminating my engagement with her. Please give me some time to explain it clearly." "Okay, then explain it." Chen Mingyue's expression was faint. As for Xiao Jiaojiao, she began to pretend to be obedient, deliberately revealing a look of what her mother said. Chen Xianyuan first glanced at her before looking at Chen Mingyue with a sincere gaze, saying, "Aunt Chen, since I remember, I have been following my mother's will to leave my mother behind as a holiday gift for Aunt Chen and Sister Liena, asking my uncle to help me. Every year, someone is sent to deliver it. I had no idea that my uncle had been there for 3 years and had not sent anyone to give New Year's gifts to Aunt Chen and Sister Liena. However, my eldest uncle is a pure and upright person, shining like a bright moon. He cannot suddenly and indirectly swallow the holiday gifts left by my mother for 3 years, intending to give to Aunt Chen and Sister Liena. I'll send my uncle a note call now to figure out what's going on." After speaking, Chen Xianyuan started a transmission note. Quickly, Chen Xianyuan received an echo from his uncle Chen Guangzhao's side. "Yuan." Chen Guangzhao's voice sounded somewhat joyful. Chen Xianyuan said in a warm voice, "Uncle, it's been a long time since we last contacted. Is everything okay at home?" "Okay. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Yuan, for thinking about it. I heard your cousin Yi say, you started seclusion 2.5 months ago, sprinting towards the peak of the foundation building period. How is the situation now?" Chen Guangzhao spoke with concern. Chen Xuanyuan's face showed a clear expression of gratitude, and his voice became even more gentle. "Thank you for your concern, uncle. I have successfully broken through the peak of the foundation period. Subsequently, I opened Wanli Tong and saw the figures of my master and ancestor on the Yuhui cliff from the real-time recording of the Hehuan sect. I also saw the beautiful image of my fiancée Ae, Sister Liena, and some misunderstandings about me. I was very worried. I immediately got the consent of my Shizu, my Shizuan and my mother's good sister, Aunt Chen, and arrived at the joyous sect. Unexpectedly, when I saw Aunt Chen just now, she told me something very strange." "What's going on?" Chen Guangzhao spoke with a hint of interest. Chen Xianyuan replied in a low voice, "Aunt Chen said that I no longer followed the rules 3 years ago and sent people to give New Year's gifts to her and Miss Liena. Uncle, I think there must be a misunderstanding, do you think? This is impossible. Every year, I arrange for Elder Yen to bring people to the Hehuan sect and send New Year's gifts to your Aunt Chen and Miss Lianer, never leaving them behind. Chen Guangzhao spoke confidently. Aunt Chen, look at this. Chen Xianyuan immediately turned his head with a bitter smile and looked at Chen Mingyue. The Chen family used to arrange for Elder Yen to bring people to our Hehuan sect every year to send New Year's gifts to me, my beloved child, but since 3 years ago, Elder Yen has never brought anyone again, Chen Mingyue said indifferently. So, the problem must be with Elder Yen, Ji Tsuanchang interjected in a deep voice. He has been closely monitoring the progress of the situation. After all, Chen Xianyuan is his disciple and Chen Lianer is his niece. These two people have an engagement, which is a great thing for him to be close and not to be missed. Uncle, do you see this? Chen Xianyuan could only ask Chen Guangzhao with a bitter smile. Chen Guangzhao spoke solemnly, I know what to do now. Yuaner, please convey to Aunt Chen that I will definitely figure out what's going on within 3 days and give her a satisfactory explanation. Okay, thank you, uncle. Chen Xuanyuan's tone was suddenly full of gratitude. However, Xiao Jiaojiao felt a little regretful to see Chen Xianyuan solve the problem of not giving New Year's gifts for 3 years so quickly. She took the Wanli Tong from Zhou Gu's hand and pointed to the comments and followed up comments on it, saying to Chen Xianyuan, Yuaner, could you explain it again? What's going on? This account belongs to me, but I have been in seclusion for the past 2.5 months. Today, I came out of seclusion and found out that someone was using this account to intentionally harass senior brother Zhou and sister Lianer. I remember that besides me, the person who knew about this account and password was my cousin Chen Panpan. Although my cousin Chen Panpan is quite mischievous, she is innocent and lovely, so she shouldn't be able to do such a thing. I suspect now that it's possible that she accidentally leaked my account password to someone, which is why this happened, Chen Xianyuan replied calmly. Xiao Jiaojiao nodded lightly and said, well, this is indeed a possibility. However, on the Wanli Pass, the location where, sitting and watching little sister bring new love, was displayed was on the 7th peak of your Chaos Infinite sect, Gang Peak. And my senior brother's friend, 7 days ago on Wanlatong, saw the comments and followed up comments I sent to your account. He specifically messaged us and told us that the Gang Peak is used for the cultivation of Chaos Wuji sect swordsmanship disciples and for breaking through the closed door. I think this is a very important clue. You can now contact your cousin Panpan and ask if she has leaked your account and password to anyone. Ask again, who are the people who know your account password from her, Jian Xiu. Then, I asked Uncle Tang to come forward and investigate which sword cultivators are in your sect. 15 days ago, they happened to be in seclusion at Gang Peak, and the answer naturally came out easily. Then there's no need to investigate. I can confirm that 15 days ago, only my cousin Panpan and I stayed in seclusion at Gangfeng. Chen Xianyuan smiled bitterly. Xiao Jiaojiao couldn't tolerate his ambiguous words. What do you mean? Since this was not done by you, it must have been done by your cousin Panpan. End of this chapter.